To the people of Willamette, the mall was safety, a place to gather, shop, and escape the ordinary. But when the outbreak struck, that illusion shattered. Survivors crowded into the entrance plaza, stacking furniture against the doors, clinging to the hope that the walls will hold. Then Lizzie Harris saw her dog, Madonna, trapped outside. She opened the barricade, and just like that, the horde poured in. The mall's lights still shone, but now they illuminated fear. From that moment on, every choice inside meant life or death. At the center of this chaos is Jessie McCarney, or Jessie. Her calm voice and steady presence guide Frank West and others through the crisis. But behind the scenes, Jessie carries a burden that no one else sees. Her affection and the truth she uncovers place her in a quiet war between duty and survival. She becomes one of the game's most tragic figures, not because she fails, but because she never lets herself fall apart until it's too late. Jessie's arc reveals what happens when responsibility meets fear, and when silence becomes its own form of collapse. Jessie McCarney is an agent with the Department of Homeland Security. She arrives in Willamette with Brad Garrison to investigate the source of the outbreak. Brad goes into the field, Jessie stays behind, taking control of the security room. From there, she watches the mall through a wall of monitors. She tracks movement, studies patterns, and relays information. She becomes the voice in Frank's ear, the one who sees the whole picture, even if she can't step into it. Her work is essential. She alerts Frank to survivors in danger. She warns him when threats are near. She's the bridge between chaos and strategy. Without her, Frank would be walking blind. Jessie relies on intellect. She listens, she plans, she guides. Her insight shapes many of the players' choices. But that same insight keeps her confined, physically, in the security room, and emotionally behind a wall of control. She speaks with precision, she trusts slowly, she keeps her thoughts to herself. This guarded nature suits her job, but it also isolates her. She stands close to Brad and Frank in purpose, but far from them in trust. And that distance becomes critical once her secret begins to grow. Jessie is affected early in the story during a confrontation with Dr. Barnaby. The game doesn't show the bite, but later events confirm it. She knows what it means, that there is no cure and that she will turn. But she doesn't tell anyone. She keeps working, keeps guiding, keeps holding the mission together while fear builds inside her. And that's not the only truth she hides. When she contacts DHS for help, she's met with silence. The government denies the outbreak even exists. No rescue is coming. Instead, special forces are en route, not to save survivors, but to erase them. Jessie knows the truth about Santa Cabeza. She knows that the mission has changed. The institution she serves abandoned her before she even stepped into the mall. Now she's trapped in a moral conflict. If she obeys orders, she stays silent. If she speaks, she risks mass panic. If she focuses on herself, she betrays the mission she spent her life protecting. The psychological strain is immense. The security room becomes a prison. Her silence grows heavier by the hour. She speaks to Frank through the radio, her voice steady, but every word is shaped by the truth she's hiding. She looks at Brad knowing he'll lose her. She keeps the mission alive knowing she can't save herself. Jessie's final moments come when the special forces arrive, but they're not here to help. Their mission is eradication. Jessie knew this. She just never found the strength to say it out loud. As the soldiers move through the mall, her infection overtakes her. She collapses and she turns. The transformation destroys the last piece of the mission she tried to hold together. Her attack on the soldiers is haunting. Players who've listened to her voice for hours now see her reduced to the very thing she fought against. The calm, guiding presence now becomes a threat. And Dead Rising doesn't let you look away either. The game offers a photography opportunity called Snuff Shot J, a moment that forces the player to confront her fall directly. Jessie's transformation shows that some outcomes don't build to willpower. She held her position, she hid her fear, she stayed focused. None of it changed the result. Her fall becomes a symbol of what will happen when someone carries a burden that no one else can see. Jessie's arc shifts the emotional tone of the entire game. It reveals a quiet kind of tragedy, one built not on failure but on decisions she never had space to make. Her silence changes how players view her scenes. Every line she speaks carries a second meaning. Her calm tone hides fear, her discipline hides pain, and her distance hides collapse. After she got injured with the encounter of Frank West, she never leaves the security room. She watches danger unfold without stepping outside. She helps strangers reach safety without knowing none of them will be rescued. Her voice becomes a reminder of what it means to serve a mission that no longer serves the people inside of it. On later playthroughs, players notice the signs they missed. The fatigue in her face, the tension in her voice, and the loneliness in her silence. Jessie's story becomes a reflection of the cost of secrecy and the danger of the blind duty. Her art gives Dead Rising emotional depth by showing what happens when someone breaks under the weight of responsibility. Jessie McCarney's story is one of the most powerful arcs in Dead Rising. Her affection and the truth she hides place her in a no-win scenario. No choice can save her, or the people around her. Her silence shows that the human cost of carrying responsibility without support. Her collapse shows the danger of loyalty to a system that hides the truth. Jessie becomes more than a secondary character at this point. She becomes a study of fear, duty, and the weight of secrets. Her burden invites players to think about how information shapes survival and how isolation changes the way we face impossible choices. She reminds us that in a crisis, every decision carries a cost, and some costs can't be carried alone.
What do you mean, ignore us?
I contacted headquarters, but the government has decided to deny all knowledge of what happened here. Special forces will arrive for cleanup at midnight. They'll take everyone out. Zombies, people, everyone.